Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Live Show. I am your host, Jack Sperry. That is your producer, Jeffrey Cooperstein. Got a bunch of great Steelers content coming your way here on Victory Monday, our 10th Victory Monday now Coop, of the 2024 season. Hopefully we got a couple more here before we finish up here the 2024 season. But obviously, you get that win against the Browns yesterday. You feel pretty good about that. And, I said from the second that this team lost to the Browns on Thursday Night Football that was always a weird football game and that they were – and I actually predicted. I tweeted out a couple weeks or a couple hours after that game was over. They're going to beat Cincinnati. They're going to beat Cleveland. And everybody's going to relax. Well, guess what? That collective sigh of relief is now washing over us. Everyone is relaxing here in Steelers Nation now.
Pickens Prods is spamming. Jack, get to Pickens already.
Pickens Prods. Relax. We will get to it, my friend. For those of you that don't know, George Pickens suffered a grade 2 hamstring injury, so that's a partial tear of his hamstring. So we will be covering the extent of what that looks like and why I'm pretty concerned about it. I mean, This is not a minor injury that he suffered.
Look, not to give anything away, but it might not just be this game that he misses.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll be discussing that at the top of today's show during the Victory Monday takeaways. We'll also go over the AFC North, or just the AFC Playoff Picture, go over the Steelers' chances of winning this division and what they have to do to win the division in the last 4 weeks to be crowned AFC North champions. Might I add, too, Coop, that most people expected this team to be last place. I mean, everybody on ESPN, everybody on Fox Sports, everybody except for Steelers Talk thought the Steelers that were going to be last place in the AFC North this year.
Yeah, I mean, people definitely picked the Bengals ahead of them as well.
The Browns. People just thought Deshaun Watson, after 2 years of being a terrible quarterback, was going to turn it on.
I did not think the Steelers were going to win this division. I think I picked them to finish third behind the Bengals and the Ravens, but I'm proud to admit I'm wrong. And look, if they win 2 of these last 4 games, they're going to be division champions. So
yeah, all you have to do now, I mean, not to give anything away, but you just got to beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
You beat the Ravens 2 weeks from now, you are division champions. Yep. And right now with a 2-game lead with 4 games left to go, honestly, if you just get 2 more wins, you're in a very, very good spot about where the Steelers stand. We also got our Week 15 preview, getting you guys ready for that game against the Philadelphia Eagles.
In-state rivalry.
In-state rivalry. Coop, I actually have to send you a video real quick. So if you want to give some shout-outs in the chat here while I send this to you.
Sounds good.
Patty
Gustafson's in the chat.
Hey, my mom is here. Everyone say hi to my mom.
Hello, Miss Patty.
Everybody say hello to Patty.
She called you Rabbit. Is that your nickname?
Yeah, Jack Rabbit.
I like that.
That's my nickname. Yeah.
What up, Pittsburgh fan? Steelers 8. Pickens Prods, you're good, brother. I was just giving you a hard time. You're good.
Pickens Prods, yeah, well, I promise, man.
Just giving you a hard time. What up, Cass? Have fun at the game tonight. That'll be fun. You're going watching a little Monday Night Football. You're scouting an AFC North team.
Yeah, we are going to go, for those of you that don't know, we do all of our watch parties here in studio. We're not at the game. So don't get a lot of opportunities to go watch live NFL football. So whenever the Cowboys have a Thursday night game or a Monday night game, I tend to like to get tickets. And you know where we got our tickets here, Coop?
Game Time!
We got them from Game Time. We got them for $100 total. Both me and Cassie, some really good tickets. And if you guys want the lowest price guaranteed on any ticket to any event, Game Time is going to be the place for you. And it's not just sports, guys. It's music. It's theater. It's comedy. If you can buy tickets to something, you can get it on Game Time for the lowest price guarantee. And guys, Game Time Picks is their brand new feature that filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It's super easy to use, guys. You just download the Game Time app, find an event you want to go see, select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen, and it automatically filters through their entire database of tickets to find you the best tickets for the best prices with the best views so that you and your family can get the best deals on any ticket you buy for any event. What I love about the Game Time app and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone right now is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. All-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time.
Oh, hang on. I think Joey P is trying to F us.
What do you mean?
He's moving into our studio.
Oh, no! Trader Joey!
Joey!
Trader Joey's moving graphics. No way!
Light was still on the thing.
Just send me full screen, Coop.
F Joey in the chat.
F Joey in the chat. Trader Joey over here. Oh my goodness, he screwed us, guys. So it's gonna take a little bit of a time here. Coop's got to move all the graphics
give me 2
back
seconds,
over.
I got it.
Goodness gracious. So you guys remember Joey Peterson? He's now the host of our Ravens channel. We call him Trader Joey because he went from the Steelers over to the Ravens. He started moving his graphics into our studio. So we have to remove all of our graphics into this studio. So you guys are going to be with me here for just a second here while Coop fixes everything. Want to give a shout out here to all the real ones here to talk some Steelers football with us today. We got Joe, Pittsburgh Steelers fan 8, Pickens Prods. We got Troy Phillip Abuga. What's up, Troy? We got Joe. We got I Am Pooh 98. We got Robert Locke. What's up, Rob? Good to see you.
I Am Pooh?
I Am Pooh. I mean, that's how it's spelled. We got AMC Plays. We've got Christian Andujar. We got Dre the Gamer. We got Professor, Trent Lawson, Pickens Burner. Got Matrix, Offsides Edits. What's up, Offsides? Good to see you. Dylan Lewandowski is here. He says Steelers haven't won in Philly since 1965. Coop, the Steelers haven't won a game in Philly since we've been to the moon.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'd also like to know how many times they've actually played in Philly, because it can't have been 10 times. So they're 0-10.
0-10. That's a lot.
Let's make it 1.
That is a lot. But here, if you want some history on our side here, Russell Wilson has never lost to the Eagles in his career. He's 6-0.
Okay, so which one gives?
So it's a unstoppable force meeting an immovable object. Who's gonna win? We're gonna find out Sunday here on Steelers Talk. By the way, we're gonna be going live for our live watch party on Sunday, starting at 3:25 p.m. Eastern time, so an hour before the game starts. So you guys can click that subscribe button so you guys always know when we go live. We're actually going live a little bit earlier today. We usually go live at 5:30 p.m. Eastern, but because I'm going to the game later tonight, I wanted to go live about an hour earlier so I could leave work a little early and hopefully beat the traffic to AT&T Stadium. So appreciate your guys' patience here. We got Cassie, my girlfriend, in the chat. Show Cassie some love. We got my mom in the chat today.
Shout out Patty G.
So everybody shout out Patty Gustafson in the chat. It's always good to see her in the chat here.
Give me like a couple seconds. I just got to fix a couple things here.
So Coop's got to fix a couple things here. And if you guys haven't already, before we get into our content today, click that thumbs up icon. We got about 200 people watching this show right now. About a quarter of you guys have clicked the thumbs up icon. Now, the reason why liking the video in the stream is so important is because it tells the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content and that you want more of it. And what it does, guys, and how it helps the channel is that the YouTube algorithm is going to push content that gets lots of likes. So if you guys click that thumbs up icon and you tell the YouTube algorithm that you're enjoying our content, we get to reach more Steelers fans and we get to grow our community past the 70,000 that are already subscribed to the channel. Hey, we've got our first super chat of the day, and we will get them up on screen here momentarily. It's one of the best.
We've got 3 super chats.
We've got 3 super chats.
Yeah,
I only see 1.
I see 3.
Oh no, I do see 3 too. We got 3 super chats here that we need to get to here in just a second. We'll get them up on screen here momentarily. Everybody spam F Trader Joey in the chat.
I mean, what a joke.
I mean, he completely moves all of his graphics in here, so we have to remove all of our graphics, and it's
we'll be ready momentarily.
Spam those F Trader Joeys. You guys get it? Trader Joe's, Trader Joey's. You guys get it? Trader Joey. Can we get to 100 likes before we even get into our first segment today? By the way, first segment coming up. Victory Monday takeaways. We got a big injury update on George Pickens, and I'm very concerned about it. We'll break down my reasons why I'm concerned about the George Pickens hamstring injury and how it could affect the Steelers down the home stretch here. Then we'll get into my Week 15 preview versus the Eagles. We've got team trends. We've got key players. I'm going to tell you how the Steelers defense can stop Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to tell you my keys to victory and my official score prediction for Week 15. Do I think the Steelers win yet another football game and improve to 11-3? I'll let you guys know my thoughts here at the end of today's show while Coop continues to move some stuff over. We got Dre the Gamer in here. We've got Colin Bailey saying hi to my mom and Cassie in the chat, putting a heart emoji in there too. That's nice, Colin. We've got Tristan White. We got RC Pond. We got Bob Locke, who's spamming his F Trader Joey's. We got Christian Andujar, who says, I hope we beat Philly and hope the Lions beat the Bills so we can take the number 2 seed. That would be great, man. And, that's going to be a big matchup next week. Lions, number 1 seed in the NFC right now, number 2 seed in the Buffalo Bills. That's going to be a really, really fun matchup. And honestly, guys, the Lions are playing some good football right now. Wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if the Steelers end up taking that number 2 seed by the end of this week. If you guys want to send in a donation today, we'll get to the super chats that have been sent in here in just a second. But if you guys want to send in a donation that we actually keep more of the proceeds for, you guys can send it in via Venmo, Cashapp, or PayPal. The thing is, guys, YouTube takes 30% of every single super chat that you send in. And if you send it in on an Apple product, Apple takes another 10%. So only 60% of that money is going to us here at Steelers Talk. But with Venmo, Cash App, and PayPal, a larger portion of those proceeds go directly to us, which helps us improve our graphics, improve our equipment, improve our office space, all that great stuff, guys. So thank you so much for all of your generosity throughout this season. It's been an awesome season so far. And if you guys want to send in a donation today, that's where you can find me. All right, that's Coop, are we about ready here?
Almost ready, yep.
Coop says we're almost ready. So before we get into our first segment here, spam those me's down there in the comment section if you've clicked that thumbs up icon. My goal is to get to 100 likes before we get into our first segment. So spam those me's for a shout out right now. We got Pickens Prods. We got AMC Plays, Pittsburgh Steelers Fan 8. Rodolfo is here. Offsides Edit, Chief Intado. We've got DJ KJ in here. What's up, DJ? We got Dr. Luke. We got Robert Locke. We got Troy Abuga. We got Guns and God. We got Anthony Fuller in here. Meech. We got Jack. We've got Dre. Got Steelers Fan 210. We got Pickens Prods. We got Javin J. Reggie. Joe. DeMonte Hustle. Guns and God again. We got Chief Sentado. Keep them coming, baby. We got Jason L. Mason. What's up, Mason? Good to see you.
Okay. We can run through these super chats now, and then we'll be ready.
All right, so Coop had to clean up Trader Joey's mess over here.
Joke.
What a joke. $2 super chat here from Pickens Burner says, F Joey.
I agree.
Just wait until week 16. And, Joey's still pretty new to this rivalry.
He is.
He was pretty cocky that first time the Steelers played the Ravens, and we ended up beating them. He still thinks the Ravens are going to beat the Steelers again. I don't know. I keep trying to tell Joey.
I need all of you Yinzers to pray for me because the Longhorns will be playing at the same time as Steelers-Ravens.
Yes, they will be.
So pray for me.
So Coop is going to be...
I will be multitasking.
He will be multitasking during that football game. Gage Rogers, 1-star competition Rogers here, $2 super chat. Let Sam's do.
Intern Sam just threw a horns down at me.
Goodness
What
gracious.
happened to his team?
Choklahoma?
What happened to his team? They're 6-6.
He's wearing a Choklahoma shirt today. Come on now. Got anything to say, Sam? I went to Mount Mercy University. They don't have a football team.
Undefeated.
They literally don't have... We're undefeated. Mount Mercy Mustangs, undefeated.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Brown.
Exactly. Gage, appreciate the $2 super chats.
I know we have.
And then we got another super chat here. This one coming in from my man,
Anthony Fuller. I'm looking for your sticker right now.
Anthony. Coop is looking for your sticker.
I know we have it.
It's one that says King Yinzer on it with a crown.
I know what it says. It's not this one.
Nope, not that one. It's close, but not that one.
Found it.
There it is. King Yinzer in the chat. $20 super chat from Anthony Fuller. We are not worthy, Anthony. For those of you that don't know, Anthony was actually our first $100 super chat in Steelers Talk history, and that's how he earned the title of King Yinzer. So big shout out to Anthony Fuller. Appreciate the service that you have had for our country here there, Anthony. Salute to your service there, my friend. Always want to point that out because he's an active duty service member. I don't know if you're still active duty there, Anthony, but we appreciate your service to our country here on Steelers Talk. All right, $5 super chat here from Dylan Lewandowski. One of my favorite people here in this community, Dylan, $5 coming in, says, "Go Notre Dame."
You're an Irish guy.
I'm an Irish guy too, yep. I mean, I like the Irish quite a bit, and love the culture that they have there. Love the history. Love the gold helmets.
I think they have good chance in the playoff.
Yeah, I mean, Riley Leonard, he is what he is. But
exactly.
Jeremiah Love is
beast.
Unbelievable. I mean, he's an Olympic-level speedster in the backfield for the Irish. And then you got some great defensive players. Benjamin Morrison. You got some really, really great players on that Irish defense. So really excited about the Irish. Go Notre Dame, Dylan. Appreciate your support for the channel. All right, guys, we got 237 people watching. I'm not going to make you guys wait any longer. F Trader Joey in the chat. And let's get into our first segment right now. Victory Monday takeaways and George Pickens injury update is coming at you right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers have received some bad news regarding wide receiver George Pickens, as it was reported by Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette today that Pickens suffered a grade 2 hamstring injury, meaning that there is a small tear in his hamstring and is likely out for Week 15 versus the Philadelphia Eagles and potentially beyond that. So if you guys want to kick off today's show by wishing George a speedy recovery, spam those 14s down there in the comment section. I mean, Lord knows this team needs George Pickens down the stretch. So if you want him to have that speedy recovery, send some love his way. Put his number 14, down there in the comment section to kick off today's show. So, Jerry Dulac reported this actually, I believe, on a radio show earlier. So I don't have his original tweet via a tweet there. But Brooke Pryor, ESPN reporter, did report today George Pickens is dealing with a grade 2 hamstring strain. Sources tell ESPN hamstrings are tricky injuries, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers are extra cautious with their top receiver during this 3-game gauntlet. Now, obviously, guys, the short-term ramifications here, especially if it's true that Pickens won't play this week, is that you're going to be down your best receiver when you're going to be traveling to a place that you haven't won since we've landed on the moon. All right, it's been since 1965 since the Steelers have beaten the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly, and Philly has a great team this year with arguably the best running back in football and one of if not the best defense in the league. And you're going to have to go in there without George Pickens and come away with a victory. It's definitely going to be a dubious proposition at best for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they're going to have to play a complete football game to take down the Birds in the city of brotherly love. But talking about big picture here, this injury actually concerns me quite a bit here. Now, I do think, that this type of injury usually takes 2 to 4 weeks to get back from a grade 2 injury here, which is a slight tear. But as we know, man, 4 weeks, that's the rest of the regular season here. So no more George Pickens for the rest of the regular season. And, it just feels like, we've been talking about it even since the offseason. What happens if George Pickens gets hurt? Because this wide receiver room, plain and simply, is not good enough to really carry the weight that George Pickens has in this wide receiver room. And without George on the field, defenses can really pin their ears back, and they don't have to worry as much about the downfield pass. Take a look here at the average points per game for the Steelers with Russell Wilson at quarterback this year. When George Pickens plays, it's 390 yards. All right, yesterday against the Cleveland Browns, it was only at 267. Now, that's just a 1-game sample size. All right, but that is a significant difference there. And I do think that if you don't have George Pickens out there, that is a significant piece to your offense that is out of action there. And I do think that if George is out for the remainder of the regular season and he is out for that entire month, this may cost the Pittsburgh Steelers the division. All right, and that's not an overstatement, in my opinion, guys. You take a look here at the division. The Steelers have a 2-game lead over the Baltimore Ravens with 4 games to go. So the Steelers certainly have the advantage in the AFC North, and if they come away with just a win against Baltimore, they're going to lock up the division. But you take a look here at the remaining schedule. You got the Eagles on the road. We already talked about how it's going to be tough to go into Philly and win that game without Pickens. Then you're on the road against the Ravens. Now the Steelers have the Ravens number, so it's more than possible they still go in there and win, especially with the way they handle Lamar Jackson. Then you play the Chiefs at home on Christmas. I think that game's going to be close no matter what, with or without Pickens, just the way the Chiefs play. They play down to their opponents. They play close games. That's where they're most comfortable. But then the Bengals game, man, if you don't have George Pickens, man, it might not be as easy to win a shootout against the Bengals in Week 18. Then you look at Baltimore's remaining schedule here, and, they pretty much need to run the table to have a shot at the division, including beating the Steelers in Week 16. But you look at the schedule here, it's more than possible they do that. The Giants stink. The Steelers, if they can beat them, that's obviously a big one for them. Then the Texans have not played great football over the last month or so. And then the Browns stink as well. So it's certainly possible the Ravens could run the table the rest of the way. And it's more than possible without Pickens that the Steelers drop a couple of games. They end up dropping the division. But at this point in the season, the only game the Steelers need to win to become AFC North champions is that game against the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore in Week 16. And we know how much of Mike Tomlin is Lamar Jackson's boogeyman, man. He just cannot play against this defense. He's absolutely terrible. He turns into an MVP caliber quarterback, into one of the worst quarterbacks in football when he plays this Steelers defense every single time. And I expect that to be something similar 2 weeks from now. The only question is, can the Steelers score enough points against the Ravens defense to get the job done? It's certainly possible, but I feel like that matchup in Week 16 just got a lot more heavier than it was before George Pickens' injury. And really, guys, the correct strategy here is to play it safe with GP, because you just can't afford a setback with this hamstring injury and lose him for a playoff game. Because if you don't have him for that playoff game, you might not win that game, all right? So you really need George Pickens on the field. You have to do whatever you can to have this guy fully healthy for when this team plays in the postseason, whether that's as a division champion or whether that's as a wild card. You need George Pickens on the field if you want to be crowned Super Bowl champions this year. So you got to do whatever it takes, and you got to rest him as long as it takes here to get him back fully healthy and ready to go for the postseason. So let me know down there in the comments section, what is your concern level for GP's injury right now? Put it on a scale of 1 to 10 down there in the comments section. For me right now, I'm at about a 7, but let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. This will be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Coming up here on Steelers Talk, my updated AFC playoff picture here, breaking down where the Steelers are right now and what they need to do to potentially move up or maybe even down in the AFC playoff picture during the final 4 weeks of the regular season. Before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a Steelers football game at Acrisure Stadium, especially this time of the year, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. We've had multiple people that watch this show get excellently priced tickets from Game Time using our promo code, all that great stuff. And Game Time Picks is a brand new feature on the Game Time app, guys, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. And guys, what I love about Game Time in particular and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone right now is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. You also get all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout. And then a personal favorite of mine, they got the flash deals right before your event. So if you like to procrastinate to get your tickets, kind of last minute, all that different stuff, the prices go down with these flash deals the closer you wait to the event. So you get even lower price tickets if you're a procrastinator like me. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So now let's go over the latest updated AFC playoff picture here. Now keep in mind the Cincinnati Bengals have not played on Monday Night Football at the time of me recording this video, but Cincinnati's pretty much out of it, so it's not really going to matter all that much. And pretty much the short of it here is that the Pittsburgh Steelers are sitting at third in the AFC right now, behind both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. But the Bills did lose against the Los Angeles Rams this past week. So the Steelers absolutely could move up in the conference standings if they can get a game advantage over the Buffalo Bills. But right now, the Baltimore Ravens sitting at number 5 right now with an 8-5 record. And as we discussed earlier, the Ravens will be hot on the Steelers' heels as we go down the home stretch of this regular season. Now we take a look at where the Steelers stand in terms of their team stats. Let's take a look at where the offense is ranking right now. Since they turned to Russell Wilson back in Week 7, they're top 5 in scoring offense with 28.4 points per game. They're also now top 10 in yards per game at 372.1. They're 13th in yards per play at 5.5. 12th in third down percentage, 39.7. That one's not so bad, but in the red zone, they're still not very good. Still ranking 31st in red zone percentage since Russ took over at just 42.8. They've been better as of late, but it's still not the best. And then the giveaways are still very good. That is total giveaways for the season, including the Justin Fields games as well. Just 11 on the season, which ranks 7th in the National Football League. Take a look here at the defensive team stats for the Steelers. And as you guys can see, maybe not necessarily the dominant number 1 defense in terms of the stats allowed, but the takeaways are definitely making a big impact right now. They're first in the National Football League and taking the ball away with 28. They have 12 takeaways in their last 4 games. That is unprecedentedly good from the Steelers defense. They're still top 5 in scoring defense, allowing less than 20 points per game. And then the yards per game and yards per play metrics, still top 10, still very good situationally as well. So the Steelers defense, definitely a top 5 unit as we stand here today. And plain simply, guys, you look at the top 5 scoring offense, you got a top 5 scoring defense, you got a myriad of different ways to win. You got the best special teams unit in the National Football League, bar none. Then you also have a defense that can win by taking the ball away and dominating you. You can get after the quarterback. You turn the ball over with interceptions. Then on offense, you can win with the run game with Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. You can win with Russell Wilson bombing it down the field like they did against Cincinnati, especially when George Pickens is healthy. If this team is healthy down the stretch, you cannot tell me this Pittsburgh Steelers team can't win a Super Bowl with Russell Wilson as their quarterback and Mike Tomlin as their head coach. So fill in the blank for me down there in the comments section. The Steelers are a top blank team in the NFL right now. Are they the best team in the National Football League? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. For me personally, I'm going to say they're a top 5 team in the league today. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already, because we got more Steelers content coming your way. We got a Steelers preview for Steelers versus Eagles coming up later in the week. We got another live show on Thursday starting at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. We got a bunch of great stuff, all culminating in our Sunday watch party here starting at 3:25 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be covering Steelers versus Eagles live right here on Steelers Talk. So to never miss any of our content, click that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, first segment out of the way, Mr. Coop. And coming up, we've got the Week 15 preview versus the Eagles. We talked a little bit in that first segment.
Yep.
It's going to be tough to go into Philly and win without George Pickens.
As you would say, a dubious proposition.
At best. At best,
That was
my
a good
friend.
one.
It's going to be tough.
Look, the Eagles are a damn good football team. They
Yeah.
really are.
And, I think the Steelers defense can play well enough to win the game, but you're going to need a little bit of explosion on offense too.
Do you think the run defense will be able to keep Barkley in check?
I mean, we'll see. I mean, pretty much no other team has been able to do that.
That's what I'm saying.
And we saw the Steelers earlier this year multiple times get kind of gassed in the fourth quarter. But what I'll say is that they're healthy along the defensive front, which allows them to rotate guys in. And that's how you got to beat the Eagles. You got to rotate guys in. You can't play guys too much. And I think the Steelers, without George Pickens on the field, are really going to, we'll talk about this in the preview, by the way, but I think they're going to shorten the game. And I think they're going to run the football. They're going to try to chew clock, try to be efficient on third down, and they're going to try to take the ball out of the hands of Saquon Barkley and give their defense as much rest as possible.
I think my biggest worry on the offensive end is the absence of GP. It's like, who's going to make the play in the receiving corps?
And, Mike Williams made some nice plays.
He did.
I really enjoyed what I saw from Mike yesterday. He's your number 2 receiver right now, in my opinion. And, Calvin Austin has shown some really good route running stuff this year. You can rely on him a little bit. And he leads the team in touchdown receptions this year, if you believe it.
I did not know.
And then Pat Freiermuth showed some really good things yesterday as well. So I would love to see this team really hone in on getting the ball to Freiermuth. I'd love to see them take their deep shots to Mike Williams. Okay, not Scotty Miller, even though he came down with one.
Why are we taking
yesterday.
deep shots to Scotty Miller and Ben Skoranek? Well, I don't know if they.
Well, it was the two tiny guys. They were throwing fades to Calvin Austin
yes.
and Scotty.
What are we doing?
And they're like a combined 6 foot. Like they're both tiny, and we're throwing up jump balls to them. It's like it makes no sense. All right, so if you're going to throw up jump balls, you're going to throw up fades, you're going to throw up those kinds of footballs, throw them to Big Mike.
Do you think using the running back in the passing game is something we should see?
Yeah, we're definitely going to see that. We've been seeing it more the last 2 weeks. But the thing is, you are going to want to play methodically in order to shorten the football game, but you're also going to want to take some deep shots down the field to keep the Eagles defense honest.
But who do you do that to? Do you do that to Mike?
Mike.
And maybe Van?
And then if Calvin is open down the field and he doesn't have to have a contested catch situation, then you throw it to Calvin.
Yeah.
What I would do is I would put Calvin on crossing routes.
Ooh, I think that's probably where he's most effective, right?
And if you catch cover, if you catch one cover, he's going to cross the face of the defenders and nobody can run with him.
Yeah.
So I would love to see Calvin Austin III get the football on some crossers this weekend. Steelers Dad coming in with a $2 super chat.
Up?
What up, Steelers Dad? Good to see you. He says, is Ben Skoranek an unsung hero? 100%.
He is, man.
I mean, I love the way he blocks.
He blocks really well. He does a lot of dirty work on special teams for this team. He certainly... I think you said this a couple weeks ago. He is a Steeler.
He is a Pittsburgh Steeler, and he is an Arthur Smith guy.
Yes.
Arthur loves these bigger guys that can block, that can make a big impact in the screen game. He's not going to catch a lot of footballs for you, but he's going to make an impact on the field when he's out there, whether it be special teams or whether it be as kind of a designated blocker on offense. So, yes, Steelers Dad, I love Ben Skoranek. I think he was actually the one to get the fumble recovery on the muff punt.
He was.
Yesterday as well. So big shout out to Ben Skoranek for that as well.
Is it 4 straight games with three turnovers at least?
4.
4, yeah.
4 straight games.
With 3+ turnovers.
4 straight with 3 exactly.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, so it's been 3 exactly the last month of football for the Steelers.
So let's go get 3 against Philly.
I mean, you might need to get 3 against Philly to have a shot. We're going to talk about that here right now. Let's get into this week's preview. Are we good to go here, Coop? All right, let's get into our second and final segment today. Week 15 preview, Steelers versus Eagles, coming at you guys right now. This week, the Steelers travel to the Link in Philly to take on the Eagles in a highly anticipated civil war of teams from the state of Pennsylvania. Welcome into the Steelers Talk Week 15 preview. I'm your host, Jack Sperry, and today we're going to be breaking down injuries, team trends, what the Eagles like to do schematically, keys to victory, how you stop Jalen Hurts, and then finally I'll give you guys my official score prediction for this Week 15 matchup. But before we get into the content today, we are going live for our watch party at not 4:30 actually. It's 3:30 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday. So sorry for the mistake there. But 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, we're going to be going live. We got an hour-long tailgate getting you guys ready for this game. Live play-by-play and instant reaction. And then also we got extensive post-game coverage as well. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you guys, if you need a little bit more motivation to click that subscribe button, Chase Sr., the host of our Eagles channel, has challenged me to a sub-battle this week. And he's a Pennsylvania native, and this is what he had to say about the Steelers and this week's matchup.
So as somebody who grew up in Pennsylvania, the right part of the state, outside of Philadelphia, went to Temple University, I do have great respect for the city of Pittsburgh. I enjoy going there, and I think it's one of the more underrated cities in all of America. And the Pittsburgh Steelers have a proud history as an organization. But this is a Pennsylvania state rivalry that I'm jacked up for. And I don't think the Steelers are ready. The Philadelphia Eagles took care of business against the Cleveland Browns. They handled the Cincinnati Bengals. They went on the road and they punched the Ravens in the chin. Now it's time to complete the quest of an AFC North sweep. I know that Steelers defense is good. They're not ready for Saquon Barkley and the number one rushing offense in the National Football League. Birds win. Suck it, Steel City. E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
As you can see, Senior's feeling pretty good about his Eagles heading into the week. So if you want to help us beat the Eagles Now crew in a sub battle this week, new viewers, we're counting on you guys. It's only new subscribers. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, represent Steelers Nation and help us beat the Eagles this week. All right, now let's get into the content here where we got the 10-3 Steelers going into the link in Philly to take on the 11-2 Eagles, who have won 9 straight games heading into this matchup here. And, this is a team that is very, very difficult to beat. You got to play a complete game of football. You got to outplay them in the fourth quarter, which is very, very difficult to do with the run game that they have. And then you also take into account here the injuries that the Steelers are going to be dealing with this week. George Pickens is doubtful with a hamstring injury. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Pickens misses multiple games with that grade 2 hamstring minor tear in his hamstring. Then Larry Ogunjobi is going to be questionable with that groin injury he suffered against the Browns. Dante Jackson hurt his back in that game against the Browns as well. He'll be questionable. Then Montravius Adams has been working his way back, but he's still going to be questionable coming back from that knee injury. As for the Eagles, they got a trio of players on the IR that won't be available in this game. Their tight end, Dallas Goedert, will not be available. That's a pretty big one for them. He's a good player for them. Brandon Graham has really been their number one edge rusher this year, despite how old he is, but he's out for the season with the tricep injury. And then you got Bryce Huff, another one of their starting edge rushers, who's on IR right now with a wrist. All 3 of these guys will not be available for this Sunday's game. Take a look at the results so far for Philly, and both of their losses this season came in the first 4 weeks. They lost in kind of miraculous fashion to the Falcons at home in week 2 in Kirk Cousins. And then you lost to the Buccaneers on the road in convincing fashion. But other than that, they have been a very solid football team that consistently delivers results in the fourth quarter. And over the last 5 games here, they are undefeated. And in fact, in their last 9 games, they are undefeated. They nearly actually lost to the Carolina Panthers in Week 14, but they've had some pretty impressive wins, man. They completely destroyed the Commanders, really, in Week 11. They also did a really good job against the Baltimore Ravens as well. So this is a tough, physical football team where it's going to take a full team effort to come away with a W in this football game. You take a look at what the Eagles like to do schematically. They run a modern pro spread offense led by Kellen Moore, their offensive play caller. And then Vic Fangio himself, of course, runs his Fangio quarters-based defense here in Philly, and it's really starting to hit its stride in the second half of the season, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. First up, though, let's talk about the offense here. The key pieces this week are going to be Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, their number one running back, and then their awesome wide receiver duo, and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. All right, take a look at the team trends here. The Eagles' offense is a top 10 offense in the league. Maybe not top 5, but they're certainly top 10, and they're definitely maybe even top 1 when you're talking about second half stats, and especially when you're talking about fourth quarter stats. This is an offense that gets better and better as the game goes on. Now, the passing offense hasn't been quite as good lately. Jalen Hurts has had some struggles throwing the football, but I'm really excited for this matchup, guys, because the Steelers' defense is freaking unbelievable, man. 3 turnovers in each of their last 4 games. They're first in the National Football League in that category right now. Really, really good on third downs as well this season. And then the yards per play and overall scoring defense are also ranked very highly. So I'm very excited for this matchup, and it's all going to come down to whether or not the Steelers can stop the run. The points per game trends, the Eagles have scored 26.3 points per game this year, whereas the Steelers defense has allowed 18.3, which would predict the Eagles score 24 points here in Week 15 at home against the Steelers defense. Then you look at the defensive side of the ball for Philly, and man, they got a lot of really good young players on this defense. Zach Bond, their inside linebacker, is playing great football, arguably an all-pro this year. Jalen Carter, who was a high draft pick, kind of a controversial pick, but he was certainly somebody that was highly touted coming out of Georgia. He's turning into a superstar in the middle of their defense. And then their 2 young corners, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. You guys know, if you watched our draft coverage here on Steelers Talk, how high I was on both of these gentlemen. They are phenomenal football players. They still have Darius Slay on the other side of Quinyon Mitchell on the outside, who is excellent in this scheme as well. And then Josh Sweat is their biggest threat on the edge. You take a look at what the Steelers have done offensively since Russell Wilson has taken over. They're not great in the red zone, but they do move the football and they do score points. All right, they're fifth in scoring offense. Their defense and their special teams certainly give them opportunities because of the turnovers they generate and the touchdowns they kind of produce there. But the Steelers offense is absolutely getting the job done right now. But at the end of the day here, the Eagles defense is really, really good. They're a top 5 defense right now. And they've been getting better and better as the season has gone on. They're first in yards per play allowed. They're fourth in third down defense. They're sixth in the red zone. The one thing they don't do at a super high clip is turn the ball over. So I don't expect them to turn it over a bunch in this game. But it's definitely going to be tough to move the football on the Birds. So the points per game trends here, the Steelers are averaging 28.4 points per game, and then the Eagles are giving up 18 points per game. So that's going to predict that the Steelers score about 23 points in this game. So if you believe the trends, they'll say that the Eagles win this one extremely closely. It's like a razor-thin margin, but the trends would predict a 24-23 win for the Eagles at home. And throughout the rest of today's preview, guys, I got my keys to victory to help the Steelers overcome maybe that trend differential right there. I got 5 keys to victory for you guys today. Also got my Jalen Hurts scouting report. I'm going to tell you exactly how the Steelers can stop him and kind of exploit his weaknesses. And then I got my official Week 15 score prediction at the end of today's show, so make sure you don't go anywhere. But before we get into the rest of today's preview, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. And guys, we all know that experiencing a sporting event, especially a football game live, is unlike anything you can get from watching the game on your couch. Game Time Picks is a brand new feature from our friends at Game Time, which filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. It's a huge time saver, guys, and it saves you a lot of money. All you have to do is click one button, and Game Time automatically shows you the best tickets and the best deals that they have on their platform for the event you want to go see. And it's one of the reasons why I love Game Time, man, and some other reasons why I love this app and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone to get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event. All-in pricing so you don't get slapped with a crazy fee at checkout, and then flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. So starting with my keys to victory here, let's talk about Jalen Hurts. And, the key for the Steelers should be to keep him in the bucket. All right, and what that means is you don't want him to escape the pocket and run around and make plays with his arm and his legs, because he can do both. He's a great playmaker, which is probably the biggest strength of his game. He likes to leave pockets early because he understands that the biggest strength to his game is keeping his eyes downfield, throwing on the run. And then also he's very thick, all right? And, he's able to really run the football and get tough yardage. And he's such a pest to play against, especially if you don't keep him in the pocket. He's also super accurate with the football, and he's got some really good touch on his deep ball. So if you allow A.J. Brown to get open one-on-one down the sideline, he's going to throw a beautiful touch ball to him, just like Russell Wilson does with guys like George Pickens for the Steelers. Very similar skill set there with Jalen Hurts, but the cons with him is mental processing. He doesn't like to go past his first read. He usually likes to go one read to play make, and then also his pocket presence isn't very good either. It's among the worst in the National Football League, where he will leave those clean pockets. And the way that you beat Jalen Hurts is you take away that first read. So he's going to have a read there in the pocket. He's going to get the football. He's going to make his first read. And if you take that away, he's going to try to leave the pocket. Now, I think that the way that the Steelers can prevent him from escaping the pocket is have a similar kind of game plan to what they do with Lamar Jackson, which is they like to send 5-man rushes. They call them dog blitzes, all right? It's when they have all 5 of their kind of line of scrimmage players. They're 3 down linemen, and then there are 2 outside linebackers. They just send all of them. And what that allows the Steelers defense to do is cut off any available rushing lanes for the quarterback. It's one of the reasons why Lamar Jackson isn't as effective as a rusher or as a passer for that matter when he plays the Steelers defense. It's why Jaden Daniels didn't have a good day when he played the Steelers defense. And if I were Mike Tomlin, if I were Terrell Austin, I would utilize these 5-man dog blitzes to limit what Jalen Hurts can do as a playmaker in terms of getting out of the pocket with both his legs and his arm. You look at another thing that I think the Steelers need to do, and this is more about the run game, is you can't run out of gas. What the Eagles love to do is they like to pound the football the entire football game. They want to tire you out, and then they want Saquon Barkley's explosiveness and stamina to shine through in the fourth quarter. And honestly, it's kind of the brand of football that the Steelers want to play. Now, the Steelers don't have as effective of a run game as the Eagles do, but the Steelers defense is actually doing a pretty good, decent job against the run this year. They're 6th in the NFL and yards per carry allowed, but Saquon Barkley gets better and better as the game goes on, man. He's in supreme physical shape. He never gets tired, and his level of explosiveness in the first quarter is the same as it is in the fourth quarter. So the way that you can kind of combat getting tired and getting gassed by the fourth quarter is twofold for the Steelers. Number one, you got to have a good rotation of players on your front seven. So I'm talking about defensive linemen, outside linebackers, and inside linebackers. You need to keep these guys fresh. You got to get Nick Herbig. You got to get Preston Smith in there for some reps and give TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith a rest at times so that those guys are good to go for the fourth quarter. You need to get Cam Hayward out of there at times. And, you got to rotate some guys. The Larry Ogunjobi injury, honestly, if he can't play this week, that could be huge because the rotation you could have on the defensive line isn't as stout. And then at inside backer, you also need to have a rotation of guys like a Landon Roberts, Peyton Wilson, of course, Patrick Queen. You got to keep those guys in a rotation. You got to keep them fresh so that when the fourth quarter comes around, Saquon Barkley isn't just running right down their throats. Okay, now we get to another key to victory here, which is to shorten the game. And this is another way you can prevent the Steelers defense from getting gassed by the fourth quarter. If you run the football, if you are methodical on offense in this football game, you're going to limit the amount of times and the amount of time the Eagles have the ball in this football game. And you really need to run the ball effectively. And obviously that's going to kill clock. You got to stay away from third and longs and pass-heavy situations. And then you got to do a good job converting on third downs. And this has honestly not been a strength of the Steelers this year, where especially on third and short, it seems like they are just never converting on those opportunities. That's got to change in this football game if they want to shorten the game and they want to keep their defense fresh throughout and really play a complete game of four-quarter football. Then we get to another key to victory on offense here, which is to keep them honest in terms of the deep passing game. The Eagles are going to want to do what the Browns did this past week and play up in your face, take away short screens, take away the short passing game, and take away the run. All right, they're not going to be necessarily afraid of Mike Williams to start. They're not going to be afraid of Calvin Austin III to start. But if you can hit a couple deep shots to some of these secondary receivers with George Pickens out of the lineup, it's going to open up the run game, it's going to open up the screen game, and it's going to allow you to do more things. So at some point, Arthur Smith and Russell Wilson need to scheme up some play-action deep shots to guys like Mike Williams, Calvin Austin III, and others to keep this defense honest and keep them back so that you can really prioritize the run game throughout all four quarters. Then the final thing here is that this is now back to defense. I think the defense needs to force a major turnover in this game, or it could be special teams as well, whether that's a block punt, whether that's a punt returned for a touchdown, whether that's a pick six, whether that's a huge strip sack fumble, whatever the case may be. This is a defense that has really come up big in the biggest moments, providing these turnovers. And, with George Pickens not in the lineup today, or this week, I should say, I think the defense is going to have to really tip the scales here in favor of Pittsburgh. And now the good news of that is that the Steelers defense has provided these plays. They've now had 4 straight games with 3 turnovers. All right, that's 12 turnovers in the last month. That is unprecedented, man. That might be an NFL record. I don't know. I might have to check the history books on that. But this Steelers defense and special teams units have done a really, really good job taking the football away. However, I do think that the Eagles have most of the advantages, especially with George Pickens out in this one. Now, could the Steelers win this game? Absolutely, but I think that the path is a lot more narrow without George Pickens on the field. I think this game would be a lot closer if GP was on the field, but because we're not expecting that, I think the Eagles get it going in the second half, and they end up winning this game 28-13, and the Steelers will go to 11-4 on the season. So now it's your turn. Let me know down there in the comments section. Predict the score of Steelers versus Eagles down there in the comments section. Is this the year the Steelers finally win in Philly? It's been 10 straight times they've lost there. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. That'll be it for this week's preview, guys. Make sure you click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We do these in-depth previews for every single Steelers game, as well as give you guys free and informative Steelers content here on our YouTube channel every single day. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. Chuchi! Coming in with a $10 super chat says, prediction, Jalen Hurts will catch COVID this week and Kenny Pickett will get smashed by the Steelers defense. What a story would that be?
I need it.
I mean, if you guys remember all the way back to our Madden series, we had Kenny Pickett play as the quarterback of the Eagles, and they still won.
If you know somebody in Philadelphia that can go give Kenny Pickett a bad cheesesteak or something, let us know.
No, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts too.
Well,
we want Kenny to play.
Yeah, we
want Jalen Hurts.
We want Kenny Pickett to play against this defense. I mean, we watched him completely bumble around in training camp. I mean, last year when I went to training camp and Kenny Pickett was the quarterback and Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator, like every single play where it was ones against ones, the defense was just dominating.
Of course,
it literally looked like varsity versus junior varsity out there. And then I remember I made a video from my hotel room that night saying, the offense looks terrible. And people were just like, oh, but the Steelers defense is great. The Steelers defense is great. And it's like, yes, the Steelers defense is great, but you shouldn't be getting absolutely fucking killed every day at practice, right?
Also, Kenny Pickett is kind of a joke because he just demands a trade. The Steelers obliged and trade him to Philadelphia. The Steelers and the Eagles are basically in the same position as far as contending in their respective conferences go.
Yeah, and honestly, Pickett would have had a chance to start the first 6 games of the year.
Exactly.
I mean, he didn't know that at the time, but I mean, even at the time, it's like who are you more likely to replace as the starter? Jalen Hurts, the guy that they just gave a mega contract to,
or Russell Wilson, who's on a prove-it deal,
who's coming here on a prove-it veteran minimum deal. I mean, Kenny Pickett completely botched it for himself.
Congrats, Kenny.
I mean, the right move for his career would have been to just stay in Pittsburgh, to just suck it up, understand like, yeah, okay, maybe I am still maybe the future of this franchise, but I'm going to have to prove it. All right? You know what I would have loved, Coop? I would have loved for Kenny Pickett to give the same answer that Justin Fields gave when he lost his starting job. Remember when we were?
I didn't play well enough.
Remember when we were 4-2?
Yes.
The media was going crazy about the Steelers going to Russell Wilson, and he goes up in front of the entire world and says, "I didn't play well enough. I didn't play well enough."
Yeah.
And that took a lot of humility. That took a lot of maturity. Some things that Kenny Pickett just simply didn't have.
What a joke.
And I would have given anything for Kenny to be like, you know what? Yeah, I didn't play well enough these 2 years to warrant me getting another chance to be the starter. Because that was the truth. All right, he did not play well enough. Yes, Matt Canada was arguably the worst play caller in football on the offensive side of the ball. But when you watch the film, it was bad offensive design mixed with bad quarterback play. Inaccuracy.
He got benched for Mason Rudolph.
Dude, Mason Rudolph made this team look
better than him.
I don't know. Man.
What do you think about tonight's game?
So, Bengals versus Cowboys. So, Coop and I actually have a bet going.
We do have a bet.
We actually have a bet. So, last week, Coop said, I think they're going to win all 4 of their next games. And I said, I'll bet you that they don't win 3 of their next 4. And he took me up on the deal.
Already got one.
So, they won last week. Who'd they play? Giants?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they beat the Giants on Thanksgiving. And I kind of expected them to do that. I thought they were going to get that one win.
Today.
Then they get the Bengals today. I think the Bengals win tonight.
The Cowboys are winning this football game tonight.
No, they are not. New poll in the chat. Starting a new poll right now.
Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, you do it. Who's going to win tonight? Bengals or Cowboys? The team that has scored 33, like almost 33 points per game this year.
This screams
versus Cooper Rush.
This screams Cooper Rush 350-yard masterclass. I've seen him do it
No,
before.
it does not.
Dude, he did it against the Vikings 2 years ago on prime time. I've seen him do this. Oh, I'm going to end that one because I put the wrong options.
Yes or no? I'm telling you, man. Well, I'll say this, Coop. If the Cowboys win tonight, I might be in trouble.
You are in trouble.
Because the next two games, who do they got? They got the Bucks and the Panthers.
Yep. Panthers next, and then followed by the Bucks.
Buccaneers looking pretty good.
They do.
Then Carolina nearly knocked off both Philly and Kansas City in the last 3 weeks. And the Buccaneers, who are playing well.
Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades, my friend.
No, it counts in terms of the film that they're putting out on the field.
I promise the Cowboys are going to win 2 of these next 3.
Coop is promising that.
Promise.
If I'd have to predict it right now.
You can record it right now.
Like, they might get one more win, all right? It's definitely possible that they could win one more. Them winning 2 more, I just don't see it.
I'll be $5
Like,
richer.
the Bengals, the Panthers, and the Buccaneers are all playing decent football right now. The Cowboys are not.
Are they not?
They're not.
Are you sure?
Yes.
They're kind of playing.
They should have been blown out 38-10 against the Commanders, and then they played the Giants when they had Gabagool out. They played
Drew Lock's better than Gabagool.
Okay, point taken there. Drew Lock's better, but he's not better than Joe Burrow.
I'm not saying he is.
Bro, you are literally saying
I'm saying that the Bengals have as ass of a defense as the Cowboys do. If not worse. If not worse.
So you're saying that it's going to be a shootout tonight and that Cooper Rush is going to outduel Joe Burrow.
27-24 Cowboys win.
I'm going to go 34-20. Do
you want a side bet on the spread right now?
No. I'm not going to go.
Dan says 52-38.
No, that's a shootout.
That would be a shootout.
That would be a fun game, man. Like,
Yeah,
I'll just be sitting there slurping on my Coke, enjoying the scene.
You're gonna have a Coke tonight?
Well, maybe. We'll see. We'll see where the winds take
About
us.
a $16 Coke.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm not excited about the parking, and then I'm not excited about the food prices. I was pretty excited about the deal I got on Game Time.
Absolutely.
The Game Time deal was pretty good. Cassie and I got in for $100.
That's awesome.
For us combined.
That actually is awesome.
Like, that's a really, really good deal.
You are going to pay more than that in parking and food.
And also, I'm not going to have to watch Dan Orlovsky and Simpsons for him tonight. I mean, because fuck that.
You can still watch it on ESPN.
I know, but there's still going to be Simpsons shit all over the place on the regular telecast.
Yeah, there will be.
And I just don't want to deal with a Simpsons themed, Monday Night Football game.
I feel that.
John Perry, do you have a question here? He says, have you guys not figured out why Wilson is now good at RPO? RPO? Honestly, the Steelers don't run a lot of RPO.
They really don't.
Like
That's not part of their offense, really.
They ran like they ran kind of an interesting run pass option play yesterday, where it was like a run play. There was a read from Russ, and then he pulled it, and then he threw it to Van Jefferson, who was wide open in the end zone. But like Arthur Smith,
that's not really a part of their offense.
Isn't really a huge RPO guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That play was cool, though.
But, that play was cool. All right, that's going to be it for today's show, guys. We really do appreciate all of your guys' support. We'll see you guys later. Until next time, guys. Here we go, Steve.
Adios.